My name is Hope Caperi, and my brother Seth, at 2 years old, was diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
Rachel is my twin. She has cerebral palsy, and she was diagnosed shortly after birth.
My brother Seth has Down syndrome, and he just turned 16.
I have a son named Ethan who's in first grade, and he was diagnosed with autism last January.
Cerebral palsy is a brain disorder where the neurons in the brain are overfiring, so his muscles are extremely tight all the time.
For Rachel, she had a clot in her brain that caused her brain to swell, and it crushed cells against the skull, so there's pieces of her brain that are missing.
Down syndrome is a prevalent disease in the United States. You have an extra partial or full 21st chromosome, which leads to more genetic information but less genetic ability.
When he was an older toddler, we started noticing some developmental delays. He would scream for no apparent reason. We started figuring out that it was sensory stimuli. The sun was in his eyes. He used to say that the sun was poking him.
I think the first time that I realized that it was different was playing tag with somebody, and she couldn't come play tag with us outside. And that same day we had just heard about heaven, and I don't know, it clicked for me that, oh, Rachel will be able to walk in heaven, and that was like so exciting to me.
I remember when I was going to 4-year-old kindergarten, and then Seth was going to like a 3-year-old kindergarten at the public school. And he'd ride the bus with me every morning, and he'd have like this special like little seatbelt and stuff.
There's things that she has to work harder to succeed at than everybody else, like brushing her teeth or being able to go from point A to point B. She has to work really hard to do that, but she perseveres through it.
Somebody like Seth, it's expressed in his shorter height, stockier figure. His eyes are almond shaped. He has one crease in his hand, all the staples of children with Down syndrome.
Sometimes Ethan needs help in social situations. Several months ago, one of his friends, I heard them say to him, "Why do you keep saying the same thing over and over?" And the reason that Ethan does that, it's part of his autism. It's something called echolalia, and that's where he has repetitive speech.
The thing that I love most about Seth is that he's so sincere. Everything he does, he means in the deepest way. If you watch him sing, like, he is genuinely worshiping the Lord.
I love that Rachel is always happy and excited about everything. Like in youth group, Rachel would get like super excited about it, and she would like clap and shriek and like just be so excited. And at camp, she would cheer so loudly.
Ethan gives really great bear hugs. One of the characteristics of his autism is that he's a sensory seeker, meaning he wants sensory input. He's very observant. He notices things and remembers things, details that I don't remember, and Mr. Coleman doesn't either.
Seth's superhero quality. There are a bevy of them, but among the top would be his ability to sing opera music. It's nearly flawless. In fact, he blows people's socks off. We'll have music playing in the house, and he'll sidle on over, crank the volume up, and before you know it, Seth is carrying away a lyrical, high baritone line that just simply can't be beat.
When he gets overstimulated, there's too much noise or too much activity, then sometimes he'll just start running laps around a room and he'll act wild. People think that he's throwing a tantrum, where it's not a tantrum really. It is a sensory overstimulation.
A common misconception about Seth is that he's like any other kid, and people expect a lot of him because they don't know that he has a disability. He's had teachers in the past call him lazy because they think that he's not trying hard enough. We've had students laugh at him and mock him because they don't understand the things that he says. And people don't realize that others are watching and that it hurts people.
A lot of times people think that she doesn't understand what's going on or exactly how to relate to her because she can't run and jump and play.
There have been times when Seth is among peers where he has maybe gotten trounced in an athletic competition, or he's been embarrassed in some way, and his reaction is to withdraw. And sometimes I see people kind of spurning him, kind of letting him go away and making fun of him as he walks away from the game or from the activity, whatever it may be.
God has taught me that he doesn't make mistakes. and to love Seth for who he is and for who God made him to be.
Patience. I think patience is the thing that I've learned the most. And also love and how to love people well.
He has taught me, for one thing, to depend on him in everyday, moment by moment parenting decisions.
God has taught me to treasure the image of God in other people. And probably more specifically than that, he's taught me that other people, I have the ability to express his image in ways that I don't.
If I could tell people one thing about my loved one with special needs, is that don't dehumanize them. They are a person just like you or I.
I think one way to learn about special needs is just to get involved with people who have special needs. Being willing to get to know someone with special needs is a good way to learn about it.
If I could tell people one thing about how to treat people with special needs, everyone, is going back to the biblical principle of treating others how you would want to be treated.
Do not overthink it. They're people like you with some different abilities, some different challenges. In the same way that you would expect others to be patient with you, get outside of yourself and be patient with people with Down syndrome or Asperger's or autism, whatever the case may be, because they are human image bearers of God as well. So don't overthink it. Just love them and be the kind of person you should be.